I remember the day we received the anomaly alert like it was yesterday. I recount, my mind drifting back to those haunting moments. Dr. Kara Evans, an astrophysicist with an insatiable curiosity for the unknown, and I, Jake Dalton, a deep space miner turned unlikely hero, were summoned for a mission that would forever change our perception of the universe. We were aboard the starship Horizon Breaker, cruising through the vast emptiness of space when the call came. A gravity anomaly, unprecedented and unexplained, was threatening a mining colony on Zephyr 9, nestled in the swirling mist of the Andarian Nebula. Our task, to investigate and neutralize the threat. The ship's interior was a contrast of sterile functionality and lived-in clutter. Screens blinked with constant data, and the hum of the engine melded with the occasional creaks and groans of the ship's structure. My quarters were cramped, a small bunk against one wall, a desk littered with tools and personal mementos against another. It was more a cell than a sanctuary, but it was mine. Kara's lab was a different world altogether. Instruments and devices of all kinds filled the room, casting eerie shadows in the dim light. Screens displayed complex graphs and equations, testifying to the mysteries of the cosmos that she tirelessly pursued. She was there, lost in thought, her eyes reflecting the starlight from the viewport, when I found her to discuss our approach. "We have to be cautious," she said, her voice a mix of excitement and apprehension. "Gravity anomalies of this scale, they're not just dangerous, they're almost unheard of." I nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. My experience with deep space mining had taught me to respect the unpredictable nature of space, but this was something else. As we journeyed towards Zephyr 9, the unease grew. We passed through fields of floating asteroids, their silent, majestic dance a stark reminder of the forces at play in the universe. The ship's corridor, usually bustling with activity, felt suffocatingly quiet. Crew members whispered in hushed tones, their faces etched with worry. Upon reaching Zephyr 9, the sight that greeted us was surreal. The mining colony, a sprawling complex of domes and towers, was distorted as if viewed through a warped lens. Structures seemed to bend and stretch unnaturally, a visual representation of the anomaly's invisible hand. "We need to start our analysis immediately," Kara urged, her eyes scanning the colony with a scientist's curiosity and a human's fear. I agreed, my thoughts turning to the miners and their families living in the colony. Their safety was our top priority, and every second we delayed increased the danger. We disembarked, our suits shielding us from the harsh environment of Zephyr 9. The air was thick with tension, the colony's inhabitants eyeing us with a mix of hope and dread. I could feel the anomaly's presence, a subtle but undeniable force that seemed to tug at my very soul. Kara set up her equipment, her hands steady despite the circumstances. She began her scientific analysis, her focus unwavering. I, on the other hand, ventured towards the mining operations, seeking to understand how the anomaly had affected their work. The miners spoke of strange occurrences, tools floating away, and an eerie feeling that someone, or something, was watching them. As we delved deeper into our respective tasks, the anomaly's influence grew more pronounced. Equipment malfunctioned without explanation, and I caught glimpses of shadows moving in the corner of my eye, though when I turned, there was nothing there. "We're dealing with something far beyond our current understanding," Kara said later, as we regrouped in the ship's mess hall. Her face was pale, her usual enthusiasm replaced by a somber realization. That night, as I lay in my bunk, the ship gently rocking with the rhythm of the cosmos, I couldn't shake the feeling of impending doom. We had uncovered just the tip of the iceberg, and something told me that what lay beneath was far more terrifying. And so our story began, a tale of science and survival, of ancient artifacts and unseen horrors. It was a journey that would test our courage, our sanity, and our very understanding of reality. Click the like button and subscribe if you like our stories. I remember the journey to the colony as if it were a descent into some unknown abyss. The horizon breaker cut through the vastness of space, its engines humming a steady, almost soothing rhythm. But inside, our hearts were anything but calm. Kara spent most of her time in her lab, poring over every piece of data we had on the anomaly. I often found her with her eyes glued to the screens, her brow furrowed in concentration. "There's a pattern here. I know it," she'd mutter, more to herself than to anyone else. I spent my time prepping for the ground mission, checking and rechecking our gear, ensuring our suits were in top condition. The thought of stepping onto Zephyr 9, a world warped by an unseen force, sent shivers down my spine. The ship's common area became a place of quiet contemplation. The crew, seasoned space travelers all, understood the dangers of our mission. Conversations were sparse, often punctuated by long silences as we gazed out into the star-studded void. As we neared the colony, our path took us through a field of asteroids. They floated lazily through space, their surfaces scarred by eons of cosmic winds and radiation. But their serene appearance belied the danger they posed. A wrong move, a slight miscalculation in our trajectory, and we could easily find ourselves careening into one of them. Kara joined me at the observation deck as we passed through the asteroid field. "Beautiful, aren't they?" she said, her voice tinged with a mix of awe and apprehension. I nodded, unable to take my eyes off the cosmic ballet outside. "But deadly," I added. "Yes, much like the anomaly," she replied. We arrived at the colony under the cover of Zephyr IX's dim twilight. The planet, with its rocky, uneven terrain and thin atmosphere, seemed unwelcoming, almost hostile. The mining colony, a series of interconnected domes and tunnels, appeared like a fragile bubble of life in the midst of this desolation. The approach to the landing pad was tense. The horizon breaker shuddered slightly, reacting to the gravitational fluctuations caused by the anomaly. Every creak and groan of the ship was a stark reminder of the danger we were in. "We're close," Kara whispered, her eyes fixed on the viewport, watching the colony grow larger. As we disembarked, the weight of the situation settled heavily on my shoulders. The surface of Zephyr 9 was uneven, covered in a fine layer of dust and rock. The gravity felt heavier, oppressive, as if the planet itself was trying to pull us down and swallow us whole. The colony's entrance was a reinforced airlock, leading into a series of corridors that wound their way through the complex. The walls were lined with pipes and cables, the floor a metal grate that clanged under our boots. The air was stale, recycled too many times, carrying a faint metallic tang. The colonists we encountered looked weary, their faces etched with worry and fatigue. They moved with a slow, deliberate pace, as if fighting against an unseen force. Their eyes, when they met ours, were filled with a mix of relief and fear. Kara set up a temporary lab in one of the unused rooms, her equipment spreading out like a mechanical web. I helped where I could, but her focus was solely on the anomaly. "We need to understand it," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "before it's too late." That night, as we rested in our temporary quarters, the reality of our mission weighed heavily on me. The colony, with its flickering lights and humming machinery, felt like a beacon of human resilience in the face of cosmic unknowns. But outside, the anomaly loomed, an invisible specter casting its shadow over everything. The walls seemed to creak and groan under its influence, and in the depths of the night, I thought I heard whispers echoing through the corridors. It was as if the very fabric of the colony was being twisted and distorted by the gravity anomaly's unseen hand. Sleep was elusive, my mind racing with thoughts of what lay ahead. Kara, ever the scientist, seemed consumed by her research, her notes and calculations spreading like a map of our journey into the unknown. As dawn broke over Zephyr 9, casting a faint light through the colony's transparent dome, I realized that our real journey was just beginning. The anomaly, with its mysterious power and ancient origins, was more than a scientific curiosity or a mining hindrance. It was a challenge to our understanding of the universe, a puzzle that we had to solve, not just for the safety of the colony, but for our own sanity. And so, as the new day began, we prepared to delve deeper into the mystery of the anomaly, unaware of the horrors and wonders that awaited us. The atmosphere in the colony was as dense as the gravitational forces we were here to investigate. Upon our arrival, the tension was palpable, like a thick fog that had settled over everything. The structures themselves seemed to groan under the strain of the anomaly, their metal frames warped and twisted in subtle, unsettling ways. Kara and I split up to begin our respective investigations. She headed towards the central lab, her mind undoubtedly racing with theories and calculations. I made my way to the heart of the mining operations, where the effects of the anomaly were said to be the strongest. The colony was a labyrinth of corridors and chambers, each turn revealing a new facet of life on Zephyr 9. Living quarters were cramped but functional, with personal touches here and there, a child's drawing pinned to a wall, a faded photograph of a loved one. The mess hall was deserted, save for a few souls trying to find solace in a cup of synthetic coffee. As I moved through the mining area, the impact of the anomaly grew more evident. Tools and equipment were strewn about haphazardly, as if left in a hurry. A large drill lay on its side, its casing bent in a way that defied explanation. I picked up a wrench, only to feel it tug strangely in my hand, as if pulled by an unseen force. I met with the head miner, a burly man named Harris, whose face was etched with worry. "It's like the rocks themselves are fighting back," he said, his voice tinged with a mix of fear and awe. "We've lost good people trying to keep the operations going." Meanwhile, Kara's analysis was uncovering alarming data. The gravity fluctuations were increasing, not just in intensity but in frequency. The lab was a buzz of activity, screens flashing with readings that made little sense to me but spoke volumes to her. "It's not just a random anomaly," she explained when we met for a debriefing. "It's almost as if it's being controlled or directed somehow." That night, as we gathered in the mess hall with a handful of colonists, the mood was somber. Stories were shared in hushed tones, tales of strange occurrences and unexplained phenomena. Some spoke of seeing figures in the shadows, of hearing whispers in the static of their comms. Sleep was hard to come by that night. My mind was a whirlwind of thoughts, trying to piece together the puzzle of the anomaly. The colony's shelters, usually a haven from the harshness of space, felt like cages, trapping us with an unseen enemy. Kara was restless too, her eyes haunted by the day's discoveries. "There's something more to this anomaly, something ancient and powerful," she murmured, staring out into the darkness of the planet's surface. The following morning brought no respite. The anomaly's effects seemed to intensify, the air itself charged with an electric tension. As I walked through the colony, the metal walls appeared to ripple and shift subtly, a trick of the eye that left me feeling disoriented. We convened with the colony's leadership, a group of hardened space veterans who had seen their fair share of challenges. But this was different. This was unknown. "We need a plan," one of them said, his voice grave. "Before we lose more than just equipment." Kara presented her findings, her words painting a grim picture of the situation. "We're not just dealing with a gravitational anomaly," she said. "It's as if this entire area of space is being warped by something far more powerful." The meeting ended with more questions than answers. The colony was on edge, every creak and groan of the structures a reminder of the unseen force pressing in on us. As we prepared to continue our investigation, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, of being a pawn in a game whose rules we didn't understand. The gravity anomaly was more than a scientific phenomenon. It was a mystery that threatened not just the colony, but our very grasp on reality. Click the like button and subscribe if you like our stories. The anomaly's enigma deepened with each passing hour. Dr. Kara Evans, her mind a whirlwind of theories and calculations, spearheaded the scientific analysis with a fervor that bordered on obsession. I focused on the practical aspects, liaising with the miners and engineers, trying to understand how the anomaly impacted the colony's operations. Kara had set up her temporary lab in the heart of the colony, amidst a maze of cables and equipment. Her workspace was a chaotic blend of high-tech instruments and hastily scribbled notes. She barely noticed my arrival, so engrossed was she in her data. "The gravitational fluctuations are unlike anything I've seen," she said, not looking up from her screen. "They're erratic, unpredictable. It's as if the very fabric of space-time is being twisted." I watched her work, admiring her dedication. Despite the danger, there was a part of her that thrived on the challenge, on the mystery that lay before us. Meanwhile, the mining operations were in disarray. The miners, a hardy bunch used to the perils of space, were visibly shaken. Equipment malfunctioned inexplicably. Heavy machinery moved as if of its own accord, and several areas of the mine were now deemed too dangerous to enter. In one of the mining shafts, I witnessed the anomaly's effects firsthand. A massive drill, designed to pierce the toughest rock, hung suspended in midair, as if gravity had forgotten to claim it. The miners looked on in disbelief, a mix of fear and fascination in their eyes. "It's like we're in a ghost story," one of them muttered, his voice barely above a whisper. Back in the lab, Kara's analysis was starting to bear fruit. "There's a pattern here," she said, pointing to a series of graphs and charts. "The fluctuations, they're not random. They're responding to something, or someone." The implication of her words hung in the air, a chilling prospect that added a new layer of mystery to her mission. Could it be possible that the anomaly was not a natural phenomenon but something else? As the day turned into night, the colony felt like a ship adrift in a storm. The tension was palpable, a collective sense of unease that pervaded every corridor and chamber. We were facing an unknown force, one that defied our understanding of physics and reality. That night, in my quarters, the shadows seemed to dance on the walls, and the hum of the colony's machinery took on a sinister tone. Sleep was elusive, my mind racing with the day's discoveries and the fear of what might come next. Kara, too, seemed lost in thought, her usual composure replaced by a sense of urgency. "We need to get to the bottom of this," she said, her eyes reflecting the dim light of her data screens. "Before it's too late." The gravity anomaly was more than a scientific puzzle. It was a threat that loomed over us, unseen and unfathomable. As the colony slept, its inhabitants caught in uneasy dreams. Kara and I delved deeper into the mystery, searching for answers in a sea of questions. And as the night deepened, so did the sense of foreboding, the feeling that we were standing on the edge of an abyss, staring into the unknown. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. Dr. Kara Evans and I were surveying one of the more remote sections of the asteroid where the mining operations had ceased. The environment was hostile, the atmosphere thick with a sense of foreboding. It was here, amidst the cold, unyielding rock, that we stumbled upon something extraordinary. As we navigated the dimly lit tunnels, our lights flickered across an unusual formation. It wasn't the asteroid's natural structure. This was something different, something clearly artificial. The structure was partially buried, its surface smooth and unlike any material we had encountered before. Kara's excitement was palpable. "This could be it," she whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. "This could be what's causing the anomaly." We cleared the debris, revealing more of the structure. It was an artifact of some kind, its design complex and intricate, radiating an otherworldly aura. The artifact was embedded in the asteroid's core, its surface etched with symbols and patterns that defied comprehension. "I've never seen anything like this," Kara said, running her hands over the smooth surface. "It's not human, not even remotely. This is alien technology." The implications were staggering. We had discovered an ancient alien artifact buried deep within an asteroid in the far reaches of space. It was a find of monumental significance, but it also brought a new sense of danger. The artifact was not just a relic, it was active, its power palpable in the air. We documented our findings, taking samples and recording every detail. The artifact was beyond our understanding, its purpose and function a mystery that beckoned us. As we returned to the colony, our minds raced with possibilities. The gravity anomaly, the strange occurrences, the unexplained phenomena, they all seemed to converge on this ancient, alien object. "We need to study this," Kara said, her voice filled with a mix of excitement and caution. "But we need to be careful. We don't know what we're dealing with." The colony's atmosphere had shifted. News of our discovery spread quickly, igniting a mix of awe and apprehension among the inhabitants. The presence of an alien artifact, buried within their mining site, transformed their perception of the anomaly from a mere scientific curiosity into something much more profound and unsettling. In the lab, Kara's analysis took on a new urgency. She pored over the data, her mind working tirelessly to unlock the secrets of the artifact. The symbols on its surface were like a language waiting to be deciphered, a message from a long-lost civilization. As night enveloped the colony, a sense of unease settled over us. The artifact, now exposed, seemed to exert an influence that was almost tangible. Equipment malfunctioned more frequently, strange noises echoed through the corridors, and several colonists reported having vivid, unsettling dreams. "We're dealing with something ancient, something powerful," Kara said as we reviewed the day's findings. "This artifact, it's not just a piece of technology. It's a key to understanding something much greater." The gravity of our situation was clearer than ever. We had uncovered a relic of an unknown alien civilization, its purpose and capabilities a mystery. The artifact was not just a scientific marvel, it was a harbinger of unknown forces, a reminder of the vast and unexplored mysteries of the universe. As we prepared for another day of investigation, the weight of our discovery bore down on us. We were on the brink of a new understanding, standing at the threshold of the unknown. Click the like button and subscribe if you like our stories. The days following the discovery of the alien artifact were filled with a heightened sense of urgency and trepidation. Dr. Kara Evans and I worked tirelessly, analyzing the data we had gathered, but the artifact remained an enigma, its secrets locked away within its otherworldly design. The artifact's influence on the colony began to manifest in more tangible and alarming ways. Equipment that had previously shown only minor malfunctions now ceased to function entirely or behaved erratically. Lights flickered without cause, and the communication systems experienced unexplainable disruptions. More disturbing were the reports from the colonists. Many began experiencing strange visions, fleeting glimpses of shapes and shadows that seemed to vanish when looked upon directly. Whispers echoed through the corridors of the colony, originating from no discernible source, stirring a sense of dread among the inhabitants. Kara, immersed in her research, seemed to sense the artifact's power. "It's as if it's reaching out," she said one evening, her eyes fixed on the glowing screens. "Communicating, but not in any way we can understand." The gravity anomaly itself intensified, its effects no longer confined to the mining operations but felt throughout the colony. Walking became a laborious task, as if one was moving through thick water. Objects would occasionally hover in the air, defying gravity before suddenly crashing down. As the anomaly's strength grew, so did the sense of panic within the colony. People spoke in hushed, fearful tones, and the once bustling corridors became eerily quiet, the inhabitants retreating to the safety of their quarters. Despite the mounting challenges, Kara and I continued our investigation, drawn to the artifact and its mysterious power. It was during one of our examination sessions that we experienced the artifact's power firsthand. We were in the lab, the artifact placed securely on a containment platform, when a wave of energy pulsed from it. The room vibrated, the air crackled with electricity, and for a moment, it felt as though time itself had warped. We saw visions, indescribable in their complexity, images of distant worlds and ancient civilizations, fleeting and fragmented. The experience left us shaken, our minds reeling from the encounter. "It's more than just a machine or a tool," Kara whispered, her voice trembling. "It's a gateway, a bridge to something beyond our understanding." The gravity anomaly, we realized, was not a mere disturbance but a manifestation of the artifact's immense power. We were dealing with a force that transcended our scientific knowledge, a relic of an advanced alien civilization capable of manipulating the very fabric of space-time. Our mission had taken a new turn, no longer just an investigation, but a race against time to understand and control the artifact's power. The colony, once a bustling hub of activity, had become a ghost town, its inhabitants either too scared to venture out or busy preparing for the worst. The nights were the hardest. Lying in my bunk, I could feel the anomaly's presence, a constant, oppressive force that invaded every corner of the colony. It was as if the artifact was watching us, its ancient intelligence probing our minds, testing us. Kara's determination, however, remained unshaken. "We have to find a way to neutralize it," she said, her eyes burning with a mix of fear and resolve. "If we don't, the consequences could be catastrophic." The next day brought new challenges. The gravity fluctuations became more severe, making even the simplest tasks difficult. The colony's structures groaned under the strain, cracks appearing in walls and ceilings, a stark reminder of the anomaly's growing strength. Amidst this chaos, we continued our work, drawn inexorably to the artifact and its mysterious power. It was a beacon of the unknown, a puzzle that we were determined to solve. As we delved deeper into the mystery, the line between science and the supernatural blurred. The artifact was not just a relic of a long-lost civilization, it was a key to understanding the universe's deepest secrets. And as we stood on the precipice of discovery, we knew that the fate of the colony, and perhaps much more, rested in our hands. The situation at the mining colony on Zephyr 9 had escalated to a critical point. The gravity anomaly, once a mere scientific curiosity, now threatened the very existence of the colony. Dr. Kara Evans and I were at the center of this maelstrom, desperately trying to unravel the secrets of the alien artifact and find a way to neutralize its effects. The structural integrity of the colony was compromised. Cracks snaked across walls and floors, and entire sections had to be evacuated due to the risk of collapse. The gravitational forces exerted by the anomaly were no longer just a nuisance but a deadly hazard. Walking through the corridors required effort, as if one was constantly fighting against an invisible tide. Kara's analysis had revealed that the artifact was not just influencing gravity but was somehow creating a localized distortion in space-time. "It's like a miniature black hole," she explained, her voice filled with a mix of awe and fear. "But controlled, harnessed for a purpose we don't yet understand." The miners and other colony inhabitants were on edge. Many had packed their belongings, ready to evacuate at a moment's notice. The sense of impending doom was palpable, the fear tangible. People spoke in whispers, their eyes darting nervously as if expecting the walls to collapse at any moment. We held a meeting with the colony's leadership to discuss an evacuation plan. "We can't stay here," the colony administrator said, his face drawn and tired. "The risk is too great. We need to get everyone off this rock before it's too late." Kara and I shared a look, both understanding the gravity of the situation. Evacuation would be a massive undertaking, and with the anomaly's effects intensifying, we had limited time. Yet, abandoning the colony meant leaving the artifact, and with it, any chance of understanding its purpose and neutralizing its threat. Amidst the chaos, the artifact remained a constant enigma. Its surface was cool to the touch, betraying none of the turmoil it was causing. The symbols etched on it seemed to dance and shift in the dim light of the lab, a visual language that was frustratingly indecipherable. As the plans for evacuation were set into motion, the anomaly unleashed a new wave of terror. A deep rumbling shook the colony, a sound that seemed to come from the very core of the planet. The walls vibrated, and for a moment, it felt as though Zephyr 9 itself was about to tear apart. In the midst of this growing danger, Kara and I continued our work, driven by a sense of duty and an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. The artifact, with its unknown origins and immense power, was a puzzle that demanded to be solved. Each day brought new challenges, new fears. But amidst the uncertainty and danger, there was also a sense of wonder. We were on the edge of a discovery that could change everything we knew about the universe. And so, as the colony prepared to evacuate, we delved deeper into the mystery of the artifact, racing against time to unlock its secrets. Click the like button and subscribe if you like our stories. The evacuation of the Zephyr 9 mining colony was a monumental task, shadowed by the ever-growing threat of the gravity anomaly. Dr. Kara Evans and I worked alongside the colony's leadership, organizing the systematic withdrawal of personnel and essential equipment. The mood was somber. Leaving the colony felt like a defeat, but the safety of the people was our paramount concern. As the evacuation proceeded, the gravity anomaly's influence became more unpredictable and dangerous. Objects began to levitate randomly, only to crash down moments later. The colony's structures creaked and groaned ominously, as if protesting against an unseen force. Kara was relentless in her efforts to understand the artifact. There must be a way to counteract its effects, she insisted, poring over data and simulations. Her determination was a beacon of hope in the midst of growing despair. I focused on coordinating the evacuation, working with the mining teams to ensure everyone's safety. The miners, tough and resilient, kept their spirits up despite the circumstances, their jokes and laughter a much-needed respite from the tension. The evacuation was a slow process, hindered by the anomaly's interference with our equipment. Spacecraft struggled to maintain stability as they navigated the distorted gravitational field surrounding the colony. It was a race against time, each moment fraught with the risk of catastrophe. During this chaotic period, the artifact remained a mystery. Its surface, now occasionally pulsing with a soft glow, seemed to be reacting to our actions. "It's like it's aware of us," Kara said one evening, her voice tinged with a mix of fascination and unease. Despite the urgency of the situation, we continued our research, trying to find a clue, anything that could help us neutralize the artifact. Kara's expertise was invaluable, her insights into the nature of the anomaly guiding our efforts. As the last of the colonists prepared to leave, a sense of melancholy settled over us. The colony, once a bustling hub of activity and hope, was now a ghost town, its corridors and chambers echoing with the memories of those who had lived and worked there. But our mission was not yet over. The artifact, with its mysterious power and unknown origins, remained at the heart of the anomaly. Understanding it, unlocking its secrets, was our only chance to prevent a similar disaster in the future. "We can't give up," Kara said, her eyes reflecting a mix of determination and fear. "Whatever this artifact is, whatever its purpose, we have to find out. We owe it to everyone who suffered because of it." As the final transport prepared to leave, carrying the last of the colonists to safety, Kara and I stayed behind. The colony, now eerily silent, was a stark reminder of the power of the unknown. The anomaly, once a distant curiosity, had become a very real and present danger. The artifact lay in the lab, its presence more ominous than ever. As we approached it, a sense of foreboding filled the air. The symbols on its surface seemed to shimmer, as if responding to our presence. Our work was far from over. With the colony evacuated, it was just Kara, me, and the artifact. The future was uncertain, but our resolve was clear. We would unravel the mystery of the artifact or die trying. Alone in the abandoned colony on Zephyr 9, Dr. Kara Evans and I faced the daunting task of deciphering the alien artifact. The evacuation had left the colony a ghost town, its empty corridors echoing with the remnants of its past life. The gravity anomaly continued to warp the environment around us, a constant reminder of the danger we were in. Kara's determination to understand the artifact had become an obsession. She worked tirelessly, analyzing every detail, every pattern on its surface. Her eyes, usually so full of life and curiosity, now bore a look of intense concentration, tinged with a hint of something I couldn't quite place: fear, perhaps, or awe. "I think I'm onto something," she exclaimed one evening, her voice echoing through the empty lab. On the screen were the symbols from the artifact, now arranged in a pattern that seemed to repeat in a complex sequence. "It's not just random markings. It's a language, a message," Kara continued, her fingers dancing over the keyboard as she manipulated the images. I watched over her shoulder, feeling a mixture of admiration and apprehension. The thought that we were potentially unlocking an alien message was both exhilarating and terrifying. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. As Kara decoded the pattern, the artifact responded. It began to emit a low hum, a vibration that resonated through the lab. The air around it shimmered, and for a brief moment, the symbols on its surface glowed with an ethereal light. "We've activated it," Kara whispered, a mix of excitement and fear in her voice. The artifact's activation brought a new urgency to our work. We delved into the ancient inscriptions, uncovering a narrative that spanned eons. The artifact, it seemed, was a relic of a long-lost civilization, a tool or a weapon, perhaps, created for a purpose that we could barely comprehend. As we pieced together the fragments of the message, a story began to emerge. The artifact was not just a device, it was a repository of knowledge, a record of a civilization that had faced a crisis similar to our own. This could be the key to understanding not only the anomaly but the fate of the civilization that created this artifact, Kara mused, her eyes reflecting the flickering light of the screens. The gravity anomaly's intensification seemed to correlate with our progress in deciphering the artifact. The colony trembled more frequently, the very ground beneath our feet unstable and unpredictable. It was as if the artifact, or whatever force it was connected to, was aware of our actions and reacting to them. Despite the growing danger, we pushed forward. The artifact's message was incomplete, broken by the passage of time and the limits of our understanding. But every piece we decoded brought us closer to the truth. As the days passed, our isolation in the colony took on a surreal quality. We were two lone figures in a sea of silence, surrounded by the echoes of a once thriving community, now reduced to shadows and memories. Our only focus was the artifact. It became the center of our world, a beacon in the darkness of the unknown. The more we uncovered, the more we realized the significance of our discovery. We were not just deciphering an alien message, we were uncovering a legacy, a warning from the past that held the key to our future. In the stillness of the abandoned colony, with the anomaly pressing in around us, we continued our work, driven by a sense of purpose that transcended our own fears and doubts. Click the like button and subscribe if you like our stories. As the evacuation of Zephyr 9 concluded and the last transport disappeared into the vastness of space, leaving Dr. Kara Evans and me in the haunting solitude of the abandoned colony, the artifact's influence grew increasingly powerful and enigmatic. The once familiar surroundings of the colony had transformed into an eerie landscape, altered by the artifact's growing power. The gravitational disturbances became more pronounced, creating bizarre phenomena that defied explanation. Objects would float aimlessly before suddenly accelerating in random directions. The colony's structures, already strained by the anomaly, began to exhibit even stranger behaviors. Doors would open and close on their own, and lights flickered in a rhythmic pattern that seemed almost communicative. Amidst this chaos, the psychological effects on us became apparent. We started experiencing disorienting visions, glimpses of other times and places that flashed before our eyes, leaving us questioning the nature of our reality. Sleep became elusive, filled with vivid dreams that echoed the mysterious symbols on the artifact. Kara's focus on the artifact intensified. She spent hours, sometimes entire days, studying its patterns and inscriptions, trying to unlock the full message hidden within. "It's more than a warning," she said one day, her voice filled with a mix of wonder and apprehension. "It's a history, a legacy of a civilization that faced an unimaginable crisis." The artifact itself had become more active. It pulsed with a strange energy, and the air around it shimmered with a subtle, otherworldly glow. The symbols on its surface seemed to move and shift, as if alive, reacting to our presence and our attempts to decipher its secrets. During one particularly intense study session, the artifact unleashed a surge of energy that enveloped the entire lab. The walls and instruments warped as if caught in a temporal flux. Kara and I were thrown into a vision that was vivid and disorienting. We saw flashes of an advanced alien civilization, their struggle against a cosmic threat, and the creation of the artifact as a last-ditch effort to save their world. As the vision faded, we were left shaken, a deep sense of unease settling over us. The artifact was not just a passive relic, it was a conduit to the past, a bridge to a lost civilization desperately trying to communicate across the ages. The implications were profound. We were not just dealing with a scientific anomaly. We were tapping into a cosmic narrative, a tale of survival and loss that spanned millennia. The gravity anomaly, we realized, was intrinsically linked to the artifact's activation. It was a manifestation of its power, a ripple effect that extended far beyond the confines of the colony. With each passing day, the anomaly's influence became more pervasive. The colony, once a testament to human ingenuity and resilience, now felt like a tomb, a monument to the unknown dangers that lurked in the depths of space. Kara and I continued our work, driven by a sense of responsibility to understand and hopefully control the artifact's power. We were the last line of defense against the anomaly, the only ones who could unravel the mystery and prevent a catastrophe that could echo across the stars. As we delved deeper into the artifact's message, the line between past and present blurred, and we found ourselves caught in a struggle that spanned both time and space. The fate of the colony, and perhaps much more, hung in the balance. In the desolate silence of the evacuated Zephyr 9 colony, Dr. Kara Evans and I faced a critical decision. The artifact's influence was growing, its power seemingly boundless, and the gravity anomaly it created threatened to consume not just the colony, but potentially extend its reach further into space. Realizing the potential catastrophe, We knew that desperate measures were needed. The artifact had to be isolated, its connection to the surrounding environment severed. It was a monumental task, one that carried significant risks. Kara's plan was bold. "We need to move the artifact," she declared, her eyes burning with a mix of determination and fear. "If we can get it away from the colony, we might be able to minimize the anomaly's effects and buy ourselves some time to figure out how to neutralize it." The logistics of moving the artifact were daunting. It was embedded deep within the core of the asteroid, and its energy seemed to have fused it to the surrounding rock. We devised a plan to use the mining equipment to carefully extract the artifact and transport it to a remote location on the planet's surface. Working in the lab, we prepared the equipment, modifying it to handle the artifact's strange energy emissions. The colony's deserted state added an eerie backdrop to our efforts, the empty corridors and silent rooms a constant reminder of the gravity of our situation. The extraction was tense and laborious. We operated the equipment remotely, wary of the artifact's unpredictable power. The rock around the artifact cracked and groaned as we painstakingly chiseled it free, the air crackling with energy. Finally, after hours of careful maneuvering, the artifact was freed from its rocky prison. We transported it using an anti-gravity sled, its surface shimmering in the dim light of the colony's emergency illumination. As we moved the artifact, the gravity anomaly responded. The ground shook, and the air was filled with a low, resonant hum that seemed to emanate from the very core of the planet. The walls of the colony vibrated, a stark reminder that the anomaly was not just a local phenomenon, but a force that could potentially destabilize the entire asteroid. Kara and I guided the sled through the colony, navigating the twisted corridors and damaged structures. The artifact, now exposed to the open air, pulsed with a strange rhythm, as if it was communicating with the unseen forces that shaped the anomaly. Our destination was a remote, uninhabited area of Zephyr 9, chosen for its geological stability and distance from the colony. The journey was treacherous, the landscape altered by the anomaly, creating chasms and strange gravitational fields that threatened to swallow us whole. Upon reaching the site, we placed the artifact in a specially prepared containment field designed to dampen its energy emissions. The moment the artifact settled into the field, a wave of relief washed over us. For the first time since the anomaly began, the relentless pressure seemed to ease, the air growing still and quiet. But our relief was short-lived. As we monitored the artifact in its new location, it became clear that the danger was far from over. The anomaly's effects persisted, albeit weakened, and the artifact itself seemed to be reacting to the containment field, its energy levels fluctuating unpredictably. "We've bought ourselves some time," Kara said, exhaustion evident in her voice. "But this is far from over. We need to understand how to control it, or at least mitigate its effects." As we set up our makeshift lab around the containment field, the weight of our responsibility was palpable. We were on the frontier of the unknown, dealing with forces that defied our understanding of physics and reality. The fate of the colony, and potentially far beyond, rested in our hands. We were the guardians of an ancient, alien legacy, a power that could shape the future of humanity and the cosmos. Click the like button and subscribe if you like our stories. The relocation of the artifact to the remote site on Zephyr 9 was only the beginning of our final struggle. Dr. Kara Evans and I, surrounded by the desolate landscape of the distant area, faced the immense challenge of managing the artifact's unpredictable influence. Despite being weakened, the gravity anomaly persisted, its effects still felt across the colony and beyond. The artifact, now in the containment field, exhibited strange behaviors, pulsing with energy, its surface shimmering as if communicating with some unseen force. Kara worked tirelessly, her brilliant mind racing to find a solution. "We need to understand the artifact's energy patterns," she insisted. "There's a logic to it, a pattern that we're missing." Our makeshift lab was a hub of activity, screens and equipment humming with data. We analyzed every fluctuation, every pulse of energy emanating from the artifact. It was a puzzle of cosmic proportions, a riddle left by an ancient civilization. As we delved into the depths of the artifact's mysteries, the gravity anomaly reached a critical point. A massive gravitational wave emanated from the artifact, rippling through the planet's surface and the colony. The ground shook violently, throwing us off balance, and the sky above churned with strange, unnatural colors. The colony, already weakened, was hit hard. Structures collapsed, sending clouds of dust into the air. We watched in horror from our remote site, helpless as the colony that had been our home was ravaged by the unleashed forces. "It's reacting to our attempts to contain it," Kara realized, her face pale. "We're not just observers, we're part of this equation. The artifact is responding to us, to our presence." The realization was a turning point. We needed a new approach, one that took into account our interaction with the artifact. It was a dangerous gamble, but it was our only chance. With careful precision, we adjusted the containment field, synchronizing it with the artifact's energy pulses. It was a delicate operation, each adjustment bringing us closer to catastrophe or salvation. As we worked, the artifact's activity intensified. The air around us crackled with energy, and the ground trembled. We held our breath, each moment fraught with tension and fear. Then, in a sudden burst of light and power, the artifact stabilized. The energy pulses slowed, and the gravitational wave subsided. We had done it. Against all odds, we had managed to bring the artifact under control, at least temporarily. The immediate threat to the colony and the planet was averted, but the future remained uncertain. The aftermath of the gravitational wave was devastating. The colony lay in ruins, a testament to the power we had unleashed. It was a humbling reminder of our fragility in the face of cosmic forces. In the following days, Kara and I surveyed the damage, our hearts heavy with the knowledge of what had happened. The artifact, now dormant in its containment field, was a constant presence, a silent witness to the events that had unfolded. "We need to warn others," Kara said, her voice resolute. "This artifact, the knowledge it contains, it's not just about scientific discovery. It's a warning, a message from the past about the dangers of tampering with forces we don't fully understand." Our mission had changed. We were no longer just scientists, we were custodians of a powerful and dangerous legacy. The artifact, a relic of a long-lost civilization, was a reminder of the perils that lay in the vastness of space, waiting to be uncovered. As we prepared to leave Zephyr 9, we knew that our journey was far from over. The artifact's secrets and the lessons it held were now our responsibility to share with humanity. The final struggle with the gravity anomaly was a beginning, not an end, a chapter in a larger story that spanned the cosmos. In the aftermath of our struggle with the gravity anomaly on Zephyr 9, Dr. Kara Evans and I prepared to leave the now deserted colony. The artifact, contained and stabilized, remained on the planet's surface, a silent guardian of a powerful and ancient secret. The journey back to Earth was a time of reflection. The colony, once a bustling center of activity and hope, was now a ruin, a stark reminder of the dangers lurking in the uncharted corners of space. The artifact, a legacy of an advanced alien civilization, had changed our understanding of the universe. Kara and I spent long hours discussing our experiences. "We've touched something ancient and profound," she said, looking out into the star-filled void. "This experience has changed us, changed humanity. We've been given a glimpse into the vast, mysterious universe that surrounds us." As we approached Earth, the weight of our responsibility was palpable. The artifact's secrets and the lessons it held were not just scientific discoveries. They were a warning, a beacon highlighting the potential dangers and wonders that awaited humanity as we ventured further into space. Upon our return, we shared our findings with the world. The story of the gravity anomaly, the artifact, and the lost civilization that created it captivated the imagination of people everywhere. It was a tale of curiosity, danger, and survival, a narrative that spoke to the very essence of human exploration. The scientific community was abuzz with theories and discussions about the artifact and its implications for physics, archaeology, and our understanding of the cosmos. The general public, meanwhile, was filled with a sense of wonder and a renewed interest in space exploration. But our story was not just about scientific discovery. It was a reminder of our place in the universe, a humbling lesson in the face of cosmic forces beyond our control. The artifact, with its mysterious power and ancient origins, represented both the potential and the peril of delving into the unknown. Kara and I became advocates for responsible exploration and research, emphasizing the need to respect and understand the forces we encounter in the vastness of space. The artifact, now a subject of intense study and debate, stood as a testament to these principles. As I conclude this chapter of the story, I turn to you, the reader. Write in the comments below the video, what do you think about this story? Do you think the characters did the right thing? Click the like button and subscribe if you like our stories.